Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a topic that so many parents and caregivers think about: speech delay. That worry is completely understandable, but the best first step we can take is just to understand what it's all about. So, let's break it down together. This is it, right? This is probably the question that's crossed your mind a time or two as you watch your little one grow. You see other kids starting to chatter away, and you can't help but wonder, wait, should my child be doing that too? It's a totally normal question to ask, and we're here to help you navigate it. All right, so let's get right into it. Before we go any further, it's really important we're all on the same page about what speech delay actually means. So let's get our terms straight. At its core, a speech delay is really just when a child's language skills are developing a little bit slower than what's typical for their age. And, this isn't just about saying words. It can touch on how they express their thoughts, how well they understand what you're saying to them, and, well, how they communicate everything they need and want from the world. So, what does this actually look like? Well, think of it this way. On one hand, you have your typical milestones, the babbling, then saying those first simple words like da-da, and eventually putting those words together. But on the other hand, a potential sign of delay might be when those milestones are taking a bit longer to arrive, or maybe when a child seems to have a really hard time just getting their basic needs across. Okay, so now that we have a basic definition, let's talk about what to actually look for. It's super helpful to know some of the specific things you might notice in your child's day-to-day life. Here are some of the common ones you might see. Maybe they have very few words for their age, or they have a tough time with simple directions, like, go get your cup. You might also notice they don't always turn around when you call their name, or that they tend to point at things instead of trying to use words. Now, it is so important to remember, these are just potential signs, not a diagnosis. So the natural next question is, why? Why does a speech delay happen in the first place? And it's really important to note that the answer here is often pretty complex. It's almost never a simple, straightforward thing. There can be a lot of different factors. Sometimes it's something physical, like a hearing issue. It could also be linked to other developmental conditions, or maybe just a lack of exposure to a lot of language. But here's the thing that's so crucial to get. Sometimes we just don't find a clear reason at all. And that right there brings us to such a key point. There is no one-size-fits-all timeline for how a child should develop. Every single kid is on their own unique journey, moving at their own pace. And a little variation, that isn't just possible, it's completely normal. I want to just pause here for a second, because if you take away only one thing today, please let it be this. A speech delay is not a reflection of how smart a child is. So many kids with speech delays have these incredible, bright, curious minds. They just need a different way to let all those brilliant thoughts out. So if you're feeling concerned, what can you do? This brings us to the most empowering part of this whole conversation, the path forward. Because believe me, there is so much you can do to help. The magic word here is early. Acting on your concerns as soon as you have them can make an absolutely massive difference. Getting support early doesn't just help with language, it builds up their confidence, cuts down on frustration, and really helps their overall development. So, what does that support actually look like? Well, first, looking into speech therapy with a professional is a great step. But the things you do at home, they are incredibly powerful. Read books together every single day. Talk to them constantly, even if you're just narrating what you're doing. And most of all, just provide that consistent, loving communication that makes them feel safe enough to try. As we start to wrap up, I just want to leave you with a really hopeful way to look at the journey ahead, because that's what it is, a journey of patience, love, and celebrating every little win along the way. This is really the heart of it all. It's not a race. When you mix together the right ingredients, your patience, your love, and the right kind of support, children find their way. They will learn to communicate, but they'll do it on their own unique schedule. And let this be the thought that guides you. Every child's journey is going to look different. A new sound, a different gesture, one new word. Each of those little steps forward is actually a huge, monumental leap. Celebrate every single one and know that you are their biggest, best champion.